Stephan Chambers, thank you very much for those very kind words. And on behalf of the Skoll Foundation, I'd like to thank Oxford and the Said Business School for all that you do, and to thank the Skoll staff, the Skoll Center, the Skoll Foundation staff, Dean Colin Mayer, and special thanks to Alex Nichols, Rowena Young, and all of you for being here tonight. Last year, as many of you might recall, we established a tradition of giving creative gifts to the leadership of the school in order to say thank you. So last year, for then Dean Anthony Hopwood, I went on to eBay to find some appropriate gifts and found a particularly wonderful CD with the soothing sounds of one Keith Hopwood. So this year, I went on to eBay and did a search for Stephan Chambers. And unfortunately, only one listing came up. It was for a Stephan Chambers who had written a science fiction novel called Hope's End. And I didn't think it was appropriate to kick off a forum on social entrepreneurship with a book called Hope's End. So I went to the Oxford University bookstore today and bought an Oxford pen instead. It's medium point and blue. And Stephan, you may be thinking what a lousy gift, but it is mightier than the sword. So. And it's my pleasure to join Stephan and welcome you all to the 4th annual Skoll World Forum on social entrepreneurship. I'd also like to say a special thanks to my friend Salman Ahmad, who just played for you. I met Salman in New York at the Clinton Global Initiative last fall, and I was blown away because not only is he a musician and a really cool guy, he's also an HIV/AIDS ambassador for the UN, and he's the founder of South Asia's most popular rock band, Junoon, which has sold tens of millions of CDs. Junoon means passion, and I can't think of a more appropriate name. I've become a big fan of Salman's music, and I'm very grateful that he came to play here at the forum. The men and women sitting with you tonight come from 40 countries on 6 continents, and it's evident that this forum grows year by year, and it's a big part of the reason why we've changed venues tonight, and we're meeting in this magnificent theater. The Sheldonian was built between 1664 and 1669, and it still serves the function that it was created for, to award degrees. And everyone from Samuel Johnson to Sir Walter Raleigh to Hugh Grant received their degrees in this room. And it's been described as the most splendid room in Europe, and was welcomed into the world with an 8-hour ceremony in 1669. Unfortunately for our purposes here, a 2003 poll of art lovers also described it as the most uncomfortable arts venue in Britain with very nasty modern chairs. So apologies in advance to your backs and to your chiropractors. Last year, when we came to Oxford, it was clear that even though social entrepreneurs were the best kept secret, the best hope for the future of humanity, you weren't the best known. And it seemed that every story written about a social entrepreneur started with the question, what is a social entrepreneur? And so last year, as some of you might recall, we had an ambitious goal to make Bill Drayton and Victoria Hale and Martin Fisher as well known as Britney Spears. Sadly, in the past year, Britney has raised the bar a bit. However, a remarkable thing happened along the way. In 2006, social entrepreneurs went from the margins of society to the mainstream. And as we know, the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize winner is a social entrepreneur, Muhammad Yunus. And one of the leading nominees for the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize is not only a social entrepreneur, he was one of the keynote speakers at the forum last year, Al Gore, who's been nominated for his work on climate change. And we like to use Google hits as a relative barometer to see what's happening in society. And so it turns out that the Google hits for Britney Spears over the last year increased by 75%, but the Google hits for Bill Drayton more than doubled, and for Martin Fisher more than tripled, and for Victoria Hale increased almost fourfold. And I'm pleased to tell you that recently the Indian government approved a drug developed by Victoria Hale's Institute for One World Health to treat black fever, a disease that affects 500,000 Indians each year. And over the next decade, this drug is expected to save millions of lives. And of all the stories written in the past year about people like Victoria, many go out of their way to describe social entrepreneurs as the changing face of philanthropy. And they talk about business techniques being applied to solve social problems. And they say that the center of philanthropy is shifting. And there's new phrases like philanthrocapitalists and philantropreneurs. And it's true, and we're all proud to be part of that change, but I think it misses the point. We're witnessing not just a change in the nature of philanthropy, we're witnessing a shift in the nature of social change itself, from institutions to individuals, and from governments to people. And today, wherever you find a social challenge at its worst, you'll find a social entrepreneur. You're in the desperately poor villages of Paraguay, teaching children to play music, Luis Saran. You're in the slums of Peru, turning urban waste into opportunity, Albina Ruiz. You're in the homes of Pakistan, bringing help to over 100,000 families through microcredit, Rojane Zafar. And you're in the oceans of the world, replenishing the world's fishing stocks, Rupert House. You're everywhere that social problems call for innovation, inspiration, and an inability to take failure as an option. And in the process, you're replacing cynicism with hope, optimism, energy, and love. And at the Skoll Foundation, we're proud to be there with you, supporting your work in 3 ways: by investing in your organizations, by connecting social entrepreneurs to each other, and by celebrating your efforts to effect positive social change. Some may say that this vision is impossible, that the problems are too big. But as Gandhi once said, a small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history. This year, our dreams come to a bigger stage, and that small body of determined spirits grows larger every day. And our faith in our mission has never been greater. And we are altering the course of history together. So it's my honor to share this journey with you today. So thank you. And now, it's also my honor to introduce our next speaker, a man who knows a bit about changing the order of things. Dr. John Hood is the first vice-chancellor in the history of Oxford to be elected from outside Oxford's academic body, and that's a period that spans 900 years, so a reasonable trial period. An inspiring leader. Please welcome Dr. John Hood.